You're sitting in the dark. The lights are off. The only sound is your breathing, until you hear footsteps. Not in your house, in the game. You turn around, nothing there. But your hands are shaking. Your heart is pounding like you're being hunted. That's when you realize this isn't just a game. These horror titles have reached a new level of realism. With hyper-realistic graphics powered by Unreal Engine 5, cinematic lighting, and bone-chilling sound design, they blur the line between fiction and reality. Some of these games are so intense, streamers quit halfway. Others were banned on certain platforms. So turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and enter the world of nightmares. This is top 10 horror games with graphics so real you'll want to quit. Amnesia. Trapped underground. One bullet, one lantern, and something is coming. Amnesia. The bunker strips away scripted horror and drops you into an unscripted nightmare. You're inside a World War I bunker. Alone. Except for the creature hunting you. Constantly, intelligently, and ruthlessly. The twist? Everything is physics-based and fully reactive. There are no cutscenes. No safe zones. Every noise you make echoes. Every bullet counts. Every shadow matters. Graphically, it's not the flashiest game here, but the use of lighting, minimal UI, and real-time tension makes it one of the purest horror experiences you'll ever face. It doesn't want to scare you. It wants to break you. What if Pinocchio wasn't a Disney story, but a Souls-like nightmare in a dying city? Lies of P takes one of the most innocent fairy tales in history and turns it into a dark, twisted horror action RPG with breathtaking visuals and a decaying Belle Époque atmosphere. Built on Unreal Engine, the game mixes haunting environments with grotesque puppets, eerie automatons, and blood-soaked cobblestone streets. It's not a typical horror game, but its oppressive tone, brutal difficulty, and terrifying boss designs make it one of the most unsettling titles of 2023. What sets Lies of P apart is the sense of uncanny elegance. Everything is too perfect until it breaks. The puppets look human until they twist. The music is classical until it stops. And your character? He's just a puppet himself, struggling with morality, choices, and identity. If you're a fan of Bloodborne or horror with a philosophical edge, Lies of P is an absolute must-play or must-watch if you dare. Imagine if Resident Evil and Scorn had a baby, then injected it with pure nightmare fuel. That's ILL, and it's one of the most disgustingly beautiful games you'll ever see. Built with Unreal Engine 5, ILL is a first-person shooter horror with grotesque creatures, organic environments, and terrifying body horror mutations. Think flesh walls, morphing enemies, and creatures that don't even make anatomical sense. But what makes ILL unique is the gore system. This isn't cosmetic blood splatter. Enemies visibly deform, get torn apart, and mutate mid-fight. It's visceral, it's disturbing, and it's absolutely mesmerizing. You're not just shooting enemies. You're trying to survive a biological catastrophe that reacts to everything you do. This game is still in early demo stages, but when it fully launches, it's poised to be the most grotesquely beautiful horror experience ever made. Routine. Routine has been in development hell for a decade, and now it's finally crawling out, straight into your nightmares. Set in a retro-futuristic lunar base, this game combines 80s sci-fi with brutal survival horror. Think Alien meets Dead Space, but with CRT monitors and analog terror. You explore abandoned research stations where machines are out of control and something else is watching. But it's not just jump scares. It's the atmosphere, dim lights, flickering doors, distant beeping, and the feeling that you're not supposed to be there. The visuals are both low-tech and stunning. There's a grimy realism to every surface, making the horror feel uncannily grounded. Routine isn't fast. It's slow, and that's what makes it terrifying. Don't scream. Here's the concept. You walk through a haunted forest for 18 minutes. Without screaming. Simple, right? Wrong. Don't Scream uses bodycam footage mechanics and 3D spatial horror to create a sense of paranoia and claustrophobia that ramps up second by second. Built in UE5, the visuals are eerily real. Moonlight filters through trees, shadows move on their own, and the forest seems to breathe. But the twist? Your microphone is on. If you scream, even a little, the game ends. It's a psychological challenge that combines ASMR-level audio realism with pure jump-scare chaos. You don't know where the horror is, or what it is. You just know it's near. Can you last 18 minutes? Paranormal Tales. POV horror just got a terrifying upgrade. Paranormal Tales is a body cam style horror game that looks more real than most found footage films. Built on Unreal Engine 5, it uses photogrammetry and dynamic lighting to simulate a home haunting so real, you might check your own hallway after playing. There's no HUD, no health bar, no inventory, just raw, shaky footage and your reactions. The game replicates real-life camera physics, motion blur, sudden pans, low lighting, to make everything feel like you're watching a real home invasion or demonic encounter. But here's the worst part. It's not scripted. Paranormal events are triggered by your movements, by the light you use, by your hesitation. If you think you've seen everything horror games have to offer, this one will redefine your nightmares. The Outlast Trials. Ever wanted to be a test subject in a Cold War brainwashing facility? No? Well, the Outlast Trials makes sure you regret asking. Unlike its predecessors, this is a co-op survival horror game, meaning you're not alone in the dark. But that doesn't make it any easier. The game throws you into a series of experimental trials, where you must sneak, survive, and scream your way through horrific psychological experiments. There are no weapons, no safe zones, just your wits and a few tools. And the graphics? Disturbing doesn't even begin to describe it. Every hallway oozes decay. Every character is scarred, physically and mentally. Every scream is spatial, meaning you feel where it comes from. The game is designed to test your fear threshold. And yes, it often wins. Resident Evil 4 Remake. A cult village. A lone agent. A parasite-infested nightmare. Resident Evil 4 Remake is not just a visual upgrade. It's a full-blown cinematic horror experience. Capcom rebuilt everything from the ground up using the RE engine, dynamic lighting, wet blood physics, grotesque facial animations. Every encounter with the Ganados feels like a short horror film. The sound of a chainsaw revving from behind, paired with the hyper-real gore and lighting effects, creates palpable terror. They even improve the AI. Enemies flank you, use voice coordination, and feel terrifyingly alive. Add in intense close-quarters combat, claustrophobic environments, and improved horror pacing, and you've got a masterpiece. This is the RE4 experience that your nightmares warned you about. Alan Wake 2 isn't just a horror game. It's an interactive horror novel and a visual masterpiece. Set in the small, shadow-soaked town of Bright Falls, Alan Wake 2 uses photorealistic environments, dynamic lighting, and ray-traced shadows to create a world where darkness is not just a theme, it's a weapon. You play as two characters, the troubled writer Alan Wake, trapped in a surreal nightmare, and FBI agent Saga Anderson, investigating a string of ritualistic murders. The narrative flips between dimensions, realities, and timelines, keeping you constantly uneasy. But what makes Alan Wake 2 horrifying isn't just the story. It's how the environment reacts to your fear. Lights flicker based on narrative cues. Enemies melt into shadows. Hallucinations become indistinguishable from real threats. The game uses every tool in the horror playbook. Unreliable narration, fourth wall breaks, and surreal transitions to keep you off balance. Alan Wake 2 doesn't ask for your attention. It demands your mind. Silent Hill 2 Remake isn't just a game. It's a return to one of the most psychologically disturbing horror stories ever told. Built on Unreal Engine 5, the remake drags you into the fog-soaked streets of Silent Hill with terrifying detail. Every brick, every flickering street lamp, every drop of blood on James Sunderland's jacket feels uncomfortably real. But it's not just the visuals. It's what they don't show you. The fog hides more than monsters. It hides your own fears, your guilt, your demons. Pyramid Head's entrance is now a cinematic horror show, amplified by new animations and realistic physics that make you feel physically vulnerable. The revamped sound design adds subtle whispers, groans, and atmospheric echoes that will make you turn your head in real life. If you've never played Silent Hill 2 before, you're in for an experience that will haunt you for weeks. If you have, prepare to relive it and see the nightmare with new eyes.